All right, let's welcome Gilda. Take it away.
Hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
I think let's start now. One second.
I apologize.
Oh, no
Sorry.
worries.
Hello, everybody. We ready?
Hello. Yes. Take it away.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. I hope what I'm about to explain is going to help you guys with this work from home burnout, because it is a problem. And I happen to have been able to develop my own techniques because after September 11, I was the lab rat of working from home. So I've been working from home for over 2 decades. And it's something that, shook me when it happened. But then I had to learn to adapt. And when the pandemic hit, it really I didn't know what people were talking about. And then it clicked. People were going through the same things I had to go through. And I said, let me do this presentation so that I can go out there and help whoever is having this problem. And so help them understand what is happening to them. And then give them techniques to help them overcome. Okay, so today, I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. And I'm going to tell you how you're feeling. And I'm going to give you the techniques that I use to cope. Okay? So a little bit about who I am. I graduated as a management information system, computer science person very early at 20. I started working for IBM. And the September 11 hit. And it was the beginning of something completely new for me, because I was a wife, I started, to have a family. So the working from home actually made a lot of sense. I'm like, great. I get to work from home. I get to raise my daughter until you are experiencing it. And then it hits you. So after that, I've worked for many other companies where I've had the hybrid option, or most of the time working from home. I'm still working from home 25 years later. And it's something that you can adjust. It's something that you can definitely be able to adjust. In the pandemic, I did this presentation so that people can start getting through that list of things, because we're going to be like this for a while. So let's make sure we know the steps we need to follow in order to avoid burnout. So look at that. Does that sound familiar? What is the common denominator here? As you can see, it's the screen, the laptop, correct? All right. This is something you want to keep an eye. So let me tell you how you're feeling. You're feeling guilty about not being productive enough. Kind of like, they can't see me. I need to show them that I am doing something, kind of mentality or feeling. You also probably working more than 8 hours, weekends, whenever you can open the laptop and finish that email. You're also not able to fall asleep because you've been working at night and your brain is all wired up. You're skipping lunch or eating in your desk. You're too tired to exercise. And you're probably ignoring friends and family because you don't want to be in front of a Zoom or talking to anybody. So that's how you're feeling. And that's the symptoms that you are burning out. So you have to keep an eye, because burnout is a real thing. And guess what? The answer is right in front of you. Seeing the natural light of the sun helps the brain work better. No, not staring into the sun, but allowing the eyes to be exposed to the natural outdoor light. Contact lenses, eyeglasses, sunglasses, window blocking help sun rays, right? The key here, and one of the things that happened to me during the September 11 is that since I was working from home and I was also living in my house, I'm like barely came out. I barely came out. So for many, many months, I started feeling many symptoms that I did not know how to react. I thought I was getting sick. Oh my gosh, I went to doctors. I went to so many things and nobody could explain what I had. It impacted me physiologically And I couldn't explain until I started doing more research. We are troubleshooters by nature, and sometimes our own doctors, because we're like Googling everything and making sure we understand what is happening to us. I had never had this experience in the past. So I wanted to make sure I understood what was happening to me. So I went to the research that has been done. In the 1920s, there were researchers that were trying to understand why certain animals that were blinded, or eventually humans that are blind, they don't have a problem knowing when it's time to go to sleep and when it's time to, wake up. What is it that is causing this? Nobody knew until the 1990s. In 1998, we finally understood what was happening. So they discover a specific photo receptor, and that is IPRGC. What is different about this? Well, it's not like the common traditional road and cone. I started getting more into the eye, understanding what this is typically what tells the color and anything that you see through your retina, right? These are the normal traditional ones. This new cell was actually found in the frogs, in the outside of the frogs. And then it was matched to the inner retina of the human. That's when they realized that that is what exactly was causing people to understand, without having to be able to see when it was time to go to sleep, when it was time to wake up. It was something that was inside of the retina. Many diseases that are outside of the retina don't impact the inside of the retina. I know we're getting a little technical, and I don't want to lose you here. The only thing that I want to tell you that is very important about this discovery is that that specific cell is strongly impacted by the sunlight. So people say, oh, you need to have the sun because of the vitamin D. Yes, you do need the sun because of the vitamin D. But more important, the sun impacts immediately that cell that then goes straight to the hypothalamus. Not only the hypothalamus, but multiple areas of the brain. So, like, for example, whatever controls your creation of melatonin, the amygdala, your lateral, all these areas in your brain are immediately impacted by the sunlight. So, of course, when I started not going out because I was in the house and I was taking care of the kids and all that, I maybe went out a few times, but it wasn't like what I was used to, which is going to the office, seeing the sun, and then coming back from the office, seeing how everything, was getting darker. All of that is so important for you to understand where you are during the day, right? So I have linked a few things that you can read here, and I'll provide the slides for you. But what's important to understand is that photosynthesis cells in the eye directly affect the brain hypothalamus. It's very important. It influences our cardiac rhythm. Like, for example, what happened during the pandemic is like everybody got stuck in a plane. And when you're traveling to Europe or traveling to the Pacific, you get jet lag, and you get to whatever city and you feel tired. You're like, what is going on? Well, your eyes didn't get the exposure that it needed to know that what time in your sleeping patterns were completed. So they create the cardiac, I don't even know how to say it in English, but the rhythm, the circadian rhythm got impacted for the whole world. And so you started feeling all this tiredness because nobody was going out, because it was, you're going to get infected and nobody can go out. So everybody was stuck in their houses and they were getting impacted by this. And eventually, of course, everybody started going out and things kind of came, easily were able to calm down, but you didn't know what was happening. Well, you got out of the house, first of all. That's the first thing that happened. So one of the things that I want you to understand is how critical the sunlight is, but it's not like, oh my God, we're going to go out and we're going to look at the sun every day. No, you have to know how and when to do it. For example, you go out and do a 15-minute walk early in the day, facing the east. And then you do the same thing at night, but facing the west. That way, the retina and the inner retina picks up exactly what it needs to know to start moving hormones and the melatonin and the different things that are created in your brain. So don't wear sunglasses. And I'm not saying go at 12 to 2 in the afternoon where the sun, no, I'm saying 10 in the morning when there's very little UV rays, the sun is not up right, or 5:30, 6:30 in the evening when the sun is down. I'm not saying expose it to the sun. I'm just saying let the sun be down so that the brain is adjusting to, oh, it's coming back. The brain knows exactly that it's getting lighter. I mean, that it's the morning is starting. And the moment that the sun is going down, the brain absolutely captures that. We have this amazing cells inside of our retina. The other thing that I think it's a problem.
Could I ask you something really quickly?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you wanted Q&A or at the beginning end or not at all, but sorry. I was curious about this thing with the no sunglasses because I have migraine, and so if I take a walk, I like afternoon walk, and I walk to the west, like you're saying, it's so bright. It's very hard for me to have 15 minutes in my eyes because then I wind up, headachy, feeling sick.
Oh, so
I don't know if you've ever seen anything in regards to that, because I always have sunglasses.
There is a actual study that is being done because people that are blind also have the same issue and they can't see. So it's really not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, if you look at the links, it'll walk you through, there's 3 parts on that one.
Okay.
So it is what's called photophobia or something like that, is something that causes migraines. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I wouldn't recommend doing if you have it, because we all know it is impacting your brain as well. So wearing the glasses, yes, protect your eyes, most definitely. It's a whole different thing for you because you are actually, your brain is reacting to it.
Okay.
There's a whole research on that. So,
okay, cool. All right, yeah, thanks. Okay, I'll check it out.
No problem. Any other questions?
There's just been some comments in the chat, about how you're saying, Eugene mentioned the podcast episode about, I just heard about learning how to not be indispensable, the whole productivity thing, and the great advice about needing somewhere sunny in the winter, especially when you live in this, cloudy climate. Like you live in Florida, apparently. I didn't know that until I just read the comment. I live in Colorado, so it's sunny a lot here, so even the winter. And there's just been some other stuff here. Mala made some comment around the sunlight absorbed through the retina for short periods of time has a value. And Jean again said something else about measuring the strength, the lux. So even an overcast day can be much stronger than indoor lighting. And you might want to check out blue lights.
Oh, yes.
So there's some comments there for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So another thing that is extremely important is time management. One of the things that I've noticed is when you are in front of your computer for many hours after hours, focusing on the Zoom calls, you are killing yourself. It's one of the things that I had to do. The first thing I had to do is start timing myself with the Zooms. Your eyes can only be 20 minutes facing that computer and then take a break. Your eyes have to take a break from that computer after 20 minutes of completely focus. So my time is usually, I listen through my headphone, I get out of the computer, I go up, usually doing my coffee or, serving my lunch or whatever I'm doing. I'm listening, but I'm not focusing on a computer. Now, when I have to see and focus and be in front of the computer, I time my 20 minutes of pure focusing on that computer. And it will help you not be tired at the end of the day, because it's those meeting after meeting after meeting that you're focusing on that computer that is actually burning you. So timing is very important, right? Make sure you take a break after each of the, or you schedule yourself breaks after meetings. You know, I need this 15 minutes. I don't care. I need these 15 minutes, right? So people will schedule after your 15 minutes, and your lunches. Don't look at the computer. Don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone until you're done, okay? Because you're adding more screen time, and it was worse when you have it right in front of you than you will have the laptop, which is like, you know, an arm away from you. So text messaging, yeah, well, then you have to text message, you send a message, but going through Instagrams and LinkedIn's and all kinds of stuff, stop it. This is going to help you feel so much better at the end of the day. After the end of the day, go ahead. When you're getting ready to have whatever, go through your, because you also need to escape the, you know, the busyness of the life and connect with people. And the internet and social media is for that. So just make sure you're not doing it during your work time, and that you're scheduling your focusing time to limited 20 to 25 minutes, okay? So like, let's say you have a 30-minute meeting. You always leave that 5 to 10 minutes to just decompress and understand what happened in the really meat and potatoes for like 20, 25 minutes, okay? Oh, so schedule your time and rest your eyes. Limit your phone, TV, and any other devices. I would say 2 hours of social media is plenty of time to connect with family. And what I do with social media is I don't follow anybody. I'm sorry. I love you, all of you, but I don't follow anybody on social media. I use social media for people to connect with me and ask questions and blah, blah, blah. And I mentor and I do all kinds of stuff, but it's kind of like my phone line. So people, when I check social media, is do I check messages? Buck Woody jokes sometimes, you know, because he makes me laugh. That's what I need. And things that are important to me that I need to know, those are the people that I follow. Ergonomics. This is important. Why? Because inflammation is a real thing, right? And so when you're sitting down in the wrong chair or in the wrong position, you're causing stress, and it causes inflammation, and inflammation causes burnout. So the key is to be completely ergonomic, completely sitting down and working in a, like I'm a short person, so I have to have a very specific chair, and it's like $350. And I spend $350 without thinking, because my back is more important than $350. And I have a up, you know, what do you call it? One of those desks that are up and down, walk, that I can stand up. So when I'm really tired and my back feels tired, I just stand up and I continue working, right? So all these little things help you bring down the inflammation so that when you finish the day, you're not so burned. The thing is trying to make it through the end of the day so that when you sleep, you recover. But when you get burned by 3 p.m., we have a problem. We need to be able to fix it, right? Connections. This is important. You know, I know people, we are introverts. Some people don't want to be out because of the disease. And, you know, many people have dealing with social anxiety at this point. But you do have those powerhouse friends that you know that when you're around them, you recharge, you know? So if you don't have a powerhouse friend, you need to get with one powerhouse friend, you know? That person that listens, that person that has this, irradiates this energy, you know who I'm talking about, right? Try to make time in your week, in your weekends, to connect with those people, because those are, you're plugging into energy. We are vibration, believe it or not. So the vibration that those people are having interacts with your maybe low levels of vibration, and you start vibrating at a higher frequency when you connect with them. There's burnout, physical, and there's also spiritual, emotional burnout. So we need to be able to calibrate both of them and connecting with people. That's why it's so important, because you're calibrating that vibration with other people. And if you need to wear mask, wear mask. And you got to respect what people's situation are. You know, you just be you and continue to help and make other people comfortable regardless, right? Energy doesn't need a mask, by the way. Self-care. This is also extremely important. And I didn't put sleep as a self-care because everybody sleeps and, you know, but that's another one that I'm going to talk about. Self-care to me was crucial. During the September 11, one of the things that impacted me was I was very depressed. You know, it impacted because it took me 6 months to adjust to the techniques that I'm telling you. It took me 6 months to figure this out. So one of the things that helped me was connecting with things that I enjoy. I enjoy dancing. So I started dancing. I enjoy comedy. I started going to comedies. I like Zumba. I started going to Zumba. I like painting. So I started painting. I started doing things or saving that time for me. I wasn't doing it every day, but I was doing it every weekend. And I was painting every Friday. And I had to schedule my time where I could just escape from the world and just merge into what generates all these great endorphins in your body. And having good endorphins in your body is like being in love. You know, you're like, oh, I want to do this again. And then you continue to build this pattern of self-care because you like how it feels. So yes, it's important that you schedule your time for you, only you. I remember telling my ex-husband at that time, like, listen, I got to read this book. It was this thick. And it's going to take me the whole weekend. Okay, the whole weekend. Could you help me with my daughter for the whole weekend? Because I really need my peace time. So I would go into my little corner of reading and I would just start reading. Oh, you can see it in my face with it. Oh my goodness, it's like a literature book, #1 in Latin America, called 100 Years of Solitude. One of my favorite books. This thick. Oh, but I loved it. So I would just dive into it. It's like a soap opera, you would call it, or something. So that's, you know, you have to schedule that time for you because it helps you be back to who you are. After 6 months, I started realizing I could overcome this burnout that I had put on myself because I did not know how to work with working from home. One of the things that I strongly suggest people do is please, your sleep time is your sanctuary of your soul. You must protect it. So, for example, one of the things that I had to do to be able to get out of the DBA working from at night is maybe find a job where you're not 24/7, you know? My sleep became so important that I started looking for teams that had 8 DBAs. So maybe 1 week of the whole, you know, year or 1 week every other month, you have to be late at night. So you protect your sleep time because this is where your body completely regenerates cells, and it needs it. It is so important. Also, if you work late at night, you wanna take a nap. Why not? You know, sleep a little later. Your mental health is not negotiable. You know if you're burning out, and people will understand that you need that break because you're being of value to that company. And that takes me to something that a lot of people, before this, I just want to talk to you about what is really important for your organization, the hours that you work or the value that you provide. So when you start understanding that you are valuable for what you know and the things that you can fix in the organization, you start thinking, you know, I just fixed a problem that was $1 million saving the company. I think tomorrow I'm going to take it easy, maybe work 2 hours. And so you start realizing your skills are very valuable and you are not the hours you work, but the value you bring to the organization. And you continue to work on building on that value. So that makes you feel better not working or taking a nap because you work late that night. And the end of the presentation, the most important thing is about learning to use your energy. Your energy is like a vibration. When you start seeing that vibration hitting low, you know you're burning out and you have the symptoms in there. You need to start bringing it back up. And these techniques that I've been using have been helped me to go in an, equilibrium. I feel like I'm not all the way there because I am very busy. I have many responsibilities. So I do, but at least I know how to calibrate it. When I'm too high, I get it back to the middle. And when I go, I get it back to the middle. And I continue on channeling my energy. The other day, I went into a book club and I absorbed all that energy from those people. They don't understand. And I was sharing my knowledge and they were sharing their knowledge. And this is why the community is so cool for me, because we're all sharing knowledge and we're all growing together. So past and what you guys do with the community is so important for our own sanity and mental health. Being able to connect with people that do the same thing we do and maybe help you here and there and build relationships. This is why this community is so important to me and why I'm here sharing what I know, because you have built the foundation for people to connect. And that is part of how you manage your energy. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure sharing all this with you, and I'll take any questions you guys have.
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt you, so we're going to go back to we talked about the blue light, right? And then Deepthi mentioned she closed her Facebook and Instagram accounts. So she's like the best decision she ever made.
Okay.
And I agreed with her because I got rid of Facebook and Instagram. And then I leave Twitter and LinkedIn off my phone even because I noticed I was going to my phone to do something. Another thing I did, at least for time limitations, you're talking about that time management stuff, is on my phone, I have restrictions on apps. So you can set it, at least on Apple. I'm guessing you probably can do it on Android too, where you can say, I can only use this app for 10 minutes a day. I can only use my entire phone for an hour and a half a day, which I still think is too much, but for some reason I run out of time. And I think, where did I use all this time? And it's so bad for my eyes to be on my phone, right?
And how you feel after you go into it, you start burning out, that you start feeling that.
Yeah, I start feeling that, like, oh God, yeah. Just put this thing down. I have a limit on my Safari browser because that's the thing I use a lot. It's 10 minutes on my phone for a day, because otherwise I start going in there and Googling this and you're like, no, you don't need to Google that. And some people were talking about a standing desk. Jean got a uplift.
Standing desk, like, yes.
For uplift.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a sit stand too. It's not uplift, but it's that. Yeah, I love it. It's so nice. Oh, and then on my computer, I forgot to mention, I have a Pomodoro timer. So I set it for like 25 minutes usually, and then take a break.
Yes.
Just so it reminds me. Oh, it's another good thing for motivating me too. It's not just a time management. It's like a motivation thing. I think, oh my God, I don't want to do this task right now. But no, you're going to do it for the 25 minutes that you set the timer.
Yeah.
And I mean, unless, of course, things can interrupt. And if I've already been on my computer for 25 minutes or whatever, I don't do that. But you know what I mean? It kind of like helps keep you focused and then reminds you, take a break now. Okay. And Ralph mentioned that he had carpal tunnel syndrome. And he had like a ribbon of pain in his hand to his shoulder. And since he's right-handed, he started using it left-handed. And there's a thing that's called vertical mice. Dean added the vertical mice thing. And I do that left-handed mouse thing. Actually, I don't change the buttons though, because I have to remote into servers for work. So then it's too confusing. But I tried the vertical mouse thing. I just didn't like it, but it could be an option for people. And Gene also, Gilda, he said to you specifically, there's a book he thinks you would love. The Power of Full Engagement, Managing Energy, Not Time, is the key to high performance and personal renewal.
The more energy, so having this savings of energy that I've been able to build with these techniques have allowed me to do multiple things. So I can now handle multiple tasks and move up the leadership ladder and taking on more responsibilities and so think of your energy as that saving bank that you need to grow. So the more energy you have, the more you can learn, the more you can, because your brain is ready to absorb. When you are burnout, the brain stops. It says, not, don't give me anything else. So I've been able to develop my own techniques. I would love to see more things, but what I do on a daily basis, I would have never been able to do before had I not been able to master these techniques. I'm amazed sometimes. I'm like, holy cow, how did I get all that done in one day? And then I'm like, at the end of the day, where are we gonna go party? You know, and you're like, how did I do that? And to be honest with you, it's just having that bank that I save the energy.
So Mala said also that she's inspired by this talk. She's heard a lot, so she's thankful. And that she said, it may actually be weird, but I don't think you are, Mala. It's the animal videos and funny stuff on Facebook and Sequel Family on Twitter helps her relax.
Yes,
and I agree with that. Gosh, I'll watch funny videos.
Also, I have a ton of family on Facebook, so I think I'm stuck with Facebook for life because they're all over the world, and there isn't any way to get every one of them to install something else and go. You know, that's the only way I keep up with what's going on with their lives, and vice versa. I can't go anywhere for now. I understand that it's bad, you know, if you overindulge, and the political aspect pisses me off too, but whatever, you know, I'm stuck.
Oh, I avoid that.
Yeah.
I avoid it. I don't get any political or anything like that. I do post things that I'm strongly, you know, that I feel that I need to say. I don't shy away. I do say things that I strongly believe, but it's usually nothing to do with political agendas or anything like that. It's very community building type thing.
It can be difficult though. You can get wrapped up in there. As I said, I don't have Facebook, but man, you can. I wouldn't comment on anything.
No, I think I'm past that phase when I used to spend a lot of time on it. I really don't. In the morning when I'm having my coffee, I look for updates. If something is, you know, interesting and somebody has copied me on something, usually family members do if they have something to say. So I check it for like maybe an hour max in the morning and then maybe once in the evening, but that's about it. I don't hang out there too much or anything.
That's part of managing your energy. You have to understand the moment that you start getting involved in this debate or in this issue, a social media debate, you start releasing from your bank of energy. That's why I don't get involved, because it takes me a lot to save all this time and a lot to save all this energy, that I decide that I'm going to save my time for something that is more rewarding or that it's bringing more positivity. It's like you have a bank of energy that you can spend, and you have to be very careful where you spend it at. Toxic people take so much out of you. Those are like the bankers that take so much interest out of you. Yeah. So you're gonna get rid of the debt. You're gonna get rid of all those people. You want to only work with people that help you build or maintain that energy throughout your day or throughout your week or throughout your life. So picking the people that surround you is important for this. Remember the powerhouses? Those are the free money ones. So you want to have those around. Those are the generous people, because this is energy, believe it or not, translates into the time that you have to build and grow. So time is priceless. So always have people that help you with your time.
Yeah, it's very true. It's like I always thought of it as like the energy vampire. You know, it's some people that like suck all the energy out of you.
Right. Some people are your family. So
yes, yes, exactly. Sometimes
so you just have to save for
those are people I tend to mute on Twitter too. Like I used to think, you know, if I've muted someone and I'm not interested in what they have to say, why bother at all? But I've learned the hard way that relationships are made and broken by that to some degree. And this morning at our keynote, Karen Lopez was saying how many people started to like literally harass her because she unfriended a whole bunch of people on Twitter she had her own reasons, but it was like, you know, oh, why did you let me go? Why did you let me go? Just go on and on. So That's the kind of thing. I mean, it's very personal to a lot of people.
You know, I try not to unfriend people, be honest with you, because I don't follow anybody. So if you're there, great. If we're not there, we're it's trying to learn that what people do or what people say has absolutely nothing, you know, doesn't impact you. It's kind of like the Will Smith thing, you know. People had different ways of understanding that, but people have different traumas that they have to deal with. So at one point you just have to let people just talk and just move on, because the meaning of that conversation is given by you, right? And so at the moment you drop that meaning and you move on, it just becomes just one more thing in the debates in the world. And the moment you interact with people that are you know, trying to put their point of view, which is probably good, it's a good point of view, but it's not how everybody thinks. And so yeah, so just don't waste that energy. It is so precious trying to fix other people's point of views or debate other people's point of view. Just live the way you see the world and protect the world the way that you see the world, as long as it's not impacting other people.
Yeah, that's really wise advice, Gilda. Especially, generally, I've seen people who are immigrants who are from other countries, poorer countries. We have a much bigger bandwidth for different opinions than people who are born and raised here. It's just because we have to put up with a lot of stuff growing up. To me, that's both, you know, a plus and a gain and a loss. Like it's a gain because, like you said, it helps conserve relationships. We don't kick many people out, so the circle is much bigger, and people generally find us, you know, a good listening ear and all of that. But when it comes to really taking a stance, like for me, this pandemic has been a time like that. Like I lost 4 family members to this illness, like within a span of 5 months. It's been horrible. 4 people in my family. So people who tend to take strong anti-vax stance or refuse to wear masks where they have to protect other people, it really bothers me, because that's another life that you're putting at risk. That's somebody's loved one that they're going to lose. So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to be objective around that. I mean, that's the first time I'd say that I have come face to face with a very personal challenge on other people's opinions like that. It's been hard. It's been seriously hard. I think there are 2 people now left on my feed who are somewhat anti-vax. Those 2 people, I have muted them on Twitter. I know them to be good people, but I don't appreciate hearing this sort of stuff from them. So that's it.
To me, how I deal with these, because I have had situations like that where I'm very strong emotionally.
Right.
I start understanding where they come from, and maybe stepping in their shoes as well. The moment that you step outside of you and in somebody else's shoes, you begin to see things from a different point of view. And I do my homework. I really read a lot about the different things, and I make very educated decisions. I'm strongly probably I believe vaccines help, but I've been able to understand a little bit about the other end. Just like anybody that is going through something very unique to them, I start getting myself in their shoes and be tolerant to everybody, because they are going and they're fighting their own battles. And it's always good to just look at somebody else and think that that person has something good to say, and just, you know, kind of handle it like that. I haven't lost anybody to this, so I definitely I put myself in your shoes, and it's very difficult. But I can tell you, as the years go by and as we start learning more about the vaccines and the actual impact it has on the population, and we're gonna be in a point in like, maybe not. So we're still in a in a time in the world that implemented something that was very novel. And we're developing right now how to cope with results or side effects, et cetera, et cetera. So I personally do a lot of research. So I'm in the middle. I'm very neutral right now, but I was very pro the vaccine in the beginning. And I was like, because I didn't get to see. Now that I read more and like I read the whole side effects and the amount of people that were impacted, and I read everything of what could potentially happen with this vaccine and the amount of people that got impacted. Had I not, in the beginning, I didn't have that evidence. Now I do. And in another 5 years, who knows what more evidence will come. So it's good to have that mentality.
Also, I don't really have anything against anybody's personal decision to not get vaccinated, especially for medical reasons. I mean, that's just wrong to say that is not something you should respect. You should. There are people with autoimmune conditions, like a friend, David Klee, who's part of our community. He's one of them. And there are reasons why those people can't go for it. And I totally get that. I think that's a little bit different from having an anti-vax stance. If your personal inability, because of your health condition, you cannot go for something, that's completely understandable. That's something we should all respect. I mean, I respect that, but I would not say that, don't go around spreading this propaganda that you can get, all sorts of stuff because of taking it, because that isn't necessarily true. That's the problem. Somebody's decision not to get it is okay. I mean, assuming it's for health reasons, I hope. There are people otherwise too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 50 more minutes for questions. Anybody else?
So there's just some more comments, just, around like limiting your maybe notifications on WhatsApp, because Deepthi mentioned that she can mute them. I do that too. I mute groups. Sometimes they're like, Mala mentioned that she has family on there, but sometimes I have to mute some of the family groups.
Oh my, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
there's just so much stuff, and then I check it later in the day. My husband, he checks it very often. He's like, did you see this thing? I'm like, not yet. I'm going to check it later, because that's another thing on my phone I do. I minimize the alerts like really massively. I just need like basically almost only phone calls in while I'm on call at work, so I have to have that app come through, but I really try to limit it.
Yes, after 10 p.m. everybody's mute.
Oh, I have my phone.
The world is muted.
Mm-hmm.
My sleep is so important.
Yes,
Mhm.
sleep is so important.
So important. I love my sleep. Like people say, what are you going to do this weekend, Gilda? I'm asleep.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm with you.
I'm
try to
asleep late.
10 hours a
I
night.
wake up at 10 in the morning. I wake up usually sharp 8 in the morning, and it's Saturday. I'm like, I'm going back.
So literally the best thing I did for my career is to accept a job with no on-call.
Oh, there you go. This is very important.
Because in a way, I'm
Understand
kind
what's
of
important.
terrified what will happen after this job too, because just our industry is like so hooked on call, and it's gotten even worse with telecommute. But this job doesn't have it. My boss doesn't even know what my cell number is. It's extremely rare that he wants my help on the weekend or on holidays or anything. So I really like that a lot. A lot.
So Gilda, I don't know if you can see the chat or not, but I'm just still reading stuff in case you don't see it. But Ralph mentioned some stuff about Facebook, just unfriending people that don't post, and something about his brother-in-law's wife posted the pandemic video.
Oh God.
So then
Yeah,
he had to block her.
There's craziness, and you know
Yeah.
how to recognize craziness. I think Mala, you're able to recognize craziness. There is craziness, okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, feel free. Like I said, that's toxicity. You want to get it out, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then Gail mentioned that she hopes you read peer-reviewed scientific studies.
I've been reading a lot. sadly.
I really like what he's saying about those people being warriors. Actually, that's something I learned the hard way. Initially, I thought, okay, maybe this person doesn't have time, but some people are actually there to just get popcorn out because of what other people post and just keep looking at debates that happen on someone else's post and all of that. I don't like that. I don't like those people who post something controversial and completely back out of saying anything on it afterwards too. I don't like it because you want to take a stance, then you better jump in and get yourself dirty, not just let other people roll in the mud and watch it.
Yeah, I only follow people that are already in the industry and that are experts in that industry. I do not listen. Like I said, I don't follow anybody on Facebook. I don't follow anybody. I just post on Instagram. But I do follow people that are extremely, extremely smart and intelligent. And those are the people that I feed off to understand the world. You don't need people that are posting about pandemics or whatever. Get it out. That's just, busy, that's just garbage. Okay. You have to reach only those people that have the accreditation, that are really, really know what they're doing. And it's kind of hard to do that online, but if you get with me, I'll send you all the people that I follow. And one of the things that I've been doing lately, I'm following this Flab City. Is a gentleman that has like all the products that you buy that are specifically organic and that are not toxic to the body. So he studied that. He's an expert and has an amazing, amazing show. And he cooks and he does all these things. So I'm following him and I'm having a fun time learning how to consume products that are less damaging and inflammation to the body. It's more like a keto diet. I've lost 10 pounds already just following this person. So you look for people that are showing the credentials that are going to help you. To me, that is basically nutrition. And I was going through diabetes and issues that I needed to look for those experts. So always, look for people that are good in their like if we want to know how to do SQL Server the way we go, Paul Randall, right? You have Paul Randalls in all industries. You follow those. You unfollow the toxic people that are just blah, 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 blah. So I consider that I don't have a mentor, but I had the SQL community that has mentored me to become the expert I am right now. That same SQL community exists in many other industries, and those very bright people that have been able to help others exist in every industry. So if you want to learn about the vaccine, if you want to learn about nutrition, if you want to learn about spirituality, whatever I follow people that are psychotherapists. Everybody that is like accredited, like #1 in their industry. So that's who you need to follow.
Yeah, I agree completely. And Jean mentions about making lists of people on Twitter, and then you can follow that list. I've seen that actually.
That's a good idea. We should have we should share each other I posted one time, but nobody really answered. So
when Mala had to go out and get her mail and before Cindy is next after you. So she said, great job.
Oh, thank you guys. I have to go back to my day job. So I really hope that what I've been able to share with you has helped out. I do it from the bottom of my heart, and I'm here for the community. So feel free to reach out, Latina_DBA, if you have any questions. Okay.